Hi, we are Mr. and Mrs. Chandrashekar. We are basically from South. We recently relocated from Hyderabad to Navi, Mumbai for work. And as soon as we relocated, we had a good news in our family. After 2 years of our marriage, we conceived. So that was the happiest moment for us, but we wanted a confirmation. So, because I already had a medical condition before, I'm also diabetic, and I had to be extra careful about my conception because this is the most awaited baby. So, we were doing some research about which hospital would be the best, and we realized that Cloud9 is the closest to our house where we are staying currently. We heard about Cloud9 from different resources like friends, our ex-colleagues who were also patients in Cloud9 hospitals. So we wanted to be in the best hands. So we straight away chose Cloud9, and it was also a plus point that it is closer to our house. So we also did a research on Google as to who would be the best person to handle a pregnant woman who is also a who also has a history of diabetes. We got a couple of profiles, however we couldn't get the appointment for the desired doctor that we were looking out for. However, the most available and the doctor was Dr.Pooja Bansal. We went through her profile, we checked, we understood that Dr. Pooja also comes with great experience of handling high-risk pregnancies, and we were confident we wanted to give it a try. So we went ahead and we booked our appointment. So the first meeting in with Dr. Pooja was very memorable for us because I'm a person who would want to know a lot of information about what's happening about me, what's going on. And Dr. Pooja, right from the beginning, had been giving us a lot of information about the condition, what's the reality, what's happening, what can be expected. So this is something that usually not every doctor would give, especially about the medical condition. Not everybody would give a lot of information as to how to take care, how to be careful about, especially with a history of diabetes, how the levels would affect the child. So all throughout our journey, Dr. Pooja had been very informative, very resourceful, which is something that had given me a lot of confidence to trust her. And that's how we have, I was sure that I'm in very good hands, and that's where we stuck to Dr. Pooja, and we continued our consultations. We attended all our consultations. We did face a lot of challenges, and ma'am had been very helpful, very dependent, especially for us to depend on someone whom we can rely on. I had a lot of complications. My first scan was supposed to be very memorable. However, I ended up bleeding in my first scan, and it had to be an emergency scan. And then later I had a couple of complications where my placenta was lying low and I had to be on bed rest, and I also went through a lot of complications throughout my pregnancy. Like I had UTI twice. I was also affected with corona in between my pregnancy, and then later, at a later stage, the baby was we first came to know about something called as what was that, I don't remember, but it was termed as EFI or EIF, which is something which is very rare, and it is seen only in 4% of pregnancies. It was scary for us. We didn't expect that we didn't know what would the baby be like or what would be the condition, and so we faced a lot of complications. However, throughout all these issues, ma'am had been greatest support for us, and we could blindly trust her because she was giving us only the information that can be expected and not something that is hypothetical. That's something that is great about her. And to speak about our delivery, that's the most unforgettable experience that I can say. It was impossible usually for a person who is diabetic, as per my knowledge, that they would undergo a normal delivery process. However, I did have contractions, I was in labor, and I was dilating, and then when we came to know that the head of the baby was not fixed, but we were still hopeful that it would be there. Even at that point of time, ma'am kept us, made us be open in our mind as to choosing the delivery options. So we were also following her guidelines, and we were also keeping our options open. However, that one particular experience that I could speak about all my life is how our delivery happened in the labor room. I still remember I was in labor for 7 hours, and Dr. Pooja was away. She was attending a training, and she did make sure that she is there for my delivery. So the nurses kept informing me that ma'am has landed, ma'am has started from the airport, she's heading straight to the hospital to see you. And that gave me a great hope to hold on and then move on with the labor. And while ma'am was entering the labor ward, I was really surprised that she had an injured leg and still she came to see me. That's the first touching point. I'm sorry. So when I saw ma'am in that state, I was even more empowered, because if she could do it to the labor ward in that condition, I thought I could also take up the labor and then get my baby delivered. Then later, when ma'am checked me, she immediately detected that something is wrong and some action had to be taken immediately. So that's where we also realized that it's something which is serious and it is not normal, and the baby had to be delivered in 5 minutes. If not, then we could lose the baby. And then I could see how ma'am was literally, I could call her a Wonder Woman, because she just had minutes in her hand and her leg was not all right, and she kept holding the baby from a disastrous moment, or rather I could say that something fatal could have happened. But she had taken a best choice. We didn't stop her. We just were trying to go with the flow as to what ma'am was trying to do, and we could see that she was trying to do her best. I think she had put her 200% efforts in saving our lives, I could say. And I could see that she was a great team lead I could say, because she was handling me, she was handling the nurses, she was handling the other doctors, she was giving instructions. She also made sure that I was given enough information even during that time. And the next thing that I remember is sorry. The next thing that I remember is delivering to a beautiful baby girl. So this is the most unforgettable moment in my life, and I'm really inspired by Dr. Pooja. So thank you, Dr. Pooja, for saving me. Thank you, Dr. Pooja, for saving me and my baby. And one thing I would advise about, to all the other patients on behalf of, what my experience is that trust your doctor no matter how much knowledge you have. So I think I did that, and I'm saved. So thank you, Cloud9 Hospitals, for taking care of us, and thank you, Dr. Pooja, from the bottom of our hearts.